Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome everyone to a efficiency settlement build of Country Crossing. I am your neighborhood friendly Oxhorn, and here I am yet again with an efficiency settlement build in Fallout 4. So this is my Country Crossing settlement. Let me give you the bird's eye view. So this is the bird's eye view, and you can see that it's basically just one big rectangle, and there's a rectangular farm, and it's right along the road, and you can see my provisioners going up and down the road, and that's because the mechanist's lab, the mechanist's lair is right over there. And what I did is I created a robot provisioner for every single settlement. I then sent them to the mechanist's lair so that the robots didn't drag down the happiness of my settlements. And then I assigned each robot to a settlement as a provisioner. And the nice thing about Country Crossing is it's right alongside this road, so my robot provisioners go up and down it all the time. But this bird's eye view is killing my frame rate. So let's hop back down to the ground, and I'll start with my farm. So this is the Country Crossing farm, and the fence was completely busted when I got it, and I fixed it. Took a little bit of twiddling. The fence building part of the workshop is really finicky, but I managed to rebuild the farm, and I didn't need the whole thing. It's actually a huge plot of land because I only needed 72 carrots. As you know, I plant 72 carrots for my settlements, which produces exactly 36 food, which is what I need to sustain all of my settlers. So this is my farm. I placed some baskets of vegetables in here, imagining that they probably collect them and put them in baskets during the day. Let me show you next my marketplace. So I decided, wow, I'm not sure why my frame rate is like that. I'm getting some hitches. But I decided to create a roadside marketplace, and I figure, you know, I've got all of these provisioners and traders going back and forth along this road. It's a hotspot of traffic and activity. I might as well make a roadside attraction, and so I placed a whole bunch of marketplaces right alongside the road, and you can go up this ladder and order whatever you want from the merchant. Now, I did have a shop right here, but I quickly discovered that many of the provisioners will cut through the settlement to get to another road that goes along that way, and they would get stuck on my merchants. So I removed that merchant, and I put up some signs that say, "Do not enter, wrong way." You know, you don't need to be cutting through the settlement to get to your destination. But the robots, of course, ignore my signs, and that's okay. Let's see, which one is this? Murkwater Construction Site. All right, robot, go on your way to Murkwater Construction Site. Let me show you next my workshop, which is right over here. So this little shack right here came with the settlement, and inside I've got a tool chest that I assigned a settler to because this is actually a scavenging station. I'm using a mod that reskins it to look like a tool chest, and it gives settlers a unique animation. And it's the same with this shelving unit right here. A settler will come by and tinker with the shelving unit, but it's really producing scrap. I've got a broken robot sitting over here in the corner, and this is my terminal. Let's load up our settlement management software in the terminal to see where our spawn points are. And then let's make sure that we have them selected. Okay. So this settlement has 3 spawn points, the first of which is over here. Now, I had already built up much of this settlement before I discovered that there was a spawn point over here. And so what I did is I angled this turret system to point towards this spawn point. So, hopefully, the enemies are gonna spawn right here, and they're gonna be just in range of this defense system, which I've set up, which consists of 1 missile turret, 1 heavy laser turret, 1 spotlight, and then 2 ballistic machine gun turrets. I've got 1 guard tower here. Then the next one, wow, there's a lot of activity in this corner of my map, which is why I'm hitching the way I am. But the next one spawns right here, and this is actually directly inside the settlement. Not only that, it's right next to my farm, which is really a bummer because if any of my missiles hit the carrots, they break because they do area of effect damage. So in that situation, I'm going to have to repair all of my carrots, and there's really no getting around it. I didn't want to move this farm, push it back down there. I suppose I could have unplanted these carrots and moved them over here. Now that I think about it, that might be the best way to go about this. But there's nothing for it. This is where they spawn, and so I placed this defense tower right here to protect myself from that, and then 2 of these guard towers. Yes, they're facing out here towards the road, but it didn't... I mean, that looks a lot better. It doesn't make much sense to have them face this way. I mean, it does make sense to have them face this way, because this is where the actual spawn point is, but it looked bad, so I didn't do that. And the final one is right here on the other side of this billboard. So this area right here with these pallets, this is the final spawn point. And yeah, nothing really, I don't have anything set up over here because, as I said, I built my marketplace before I realized that there was a spawn point over here. And I liked it so well, I didn't want to move it. You know, I didn't want to remove this nice smoking station that I've got here with a lit cigar and a lit cigarette. I didn't want to, I mean, there's already a big telephone pole right in the way. I didn't want to move these 2 shops. So I'm hoping that from all of my robot provisioners walking the path, and from this station set up way, way, way over here, I'm hoping that if this settlement ever gets attacked from that corner, that there will be enough defense. So fingers crossed, ladies and gentlemen, fingers crossed. Wow, wow, wow. So sorry. All right, let me show you the piece de resistance of the settlement, and that's this. As you can see, this shack came with the settlement, and it was completely blown out. I patched the walls with some very humble wooden... Oh, that doesn't look very good. Let me see if I can fix that. Wooden... There we go, that's better. These are some wooden walls, and I'm using a mod to push the walls into the space in the original wall to fill in the gaps. And then I just placed some very simple corrugated iron roofs on top. And the layout of this rectangular shack is odd. It doesn't fit the nice big squares that come with the workbench. So I've got a little bit of an overhang over here for the roof. And I figured, well, if I was going to have an overhang, I might as well make a canopy to protect from the rays of the sun and the rain. And then I wired it all along the perimeter so that the inside has power. Going inside, you can see that I made it look real nice. I patched the floor. I put down some wooden flooring, and I pushed it through the original floor so that you can see the texture of the original floor, but the gaps are filled. Over here is my kitchen, and this is my settler assigned to the kitchen, where she washes dishes. This is a scavenging station. I decorated it up with some filled shelving units. There's a working cooking stove over here and a larder. Here's a working desk for rifling through papers, some art on the walls, and then I placed some fans up top to circulate the air. There she goes. So this is a scavenging station that's made to look like a sink, and it comes with a unique dishwashing animation, which I really like. Then over here I've got my television, and I'm using the Videos of the Wasteland mod. Whoops. Alright, well, you get to see how I do this. So I got an error message saying that the holotape requires power, which means that it's not close enough to the TV. I mean, you can see that the TV has power. So there we go. So if I put it close enough to the TV, I hope that the holotape player will have power as well. There it goes. Television is on. So then you go to your miscellaneous and you choose one holotape. There you go. Now my settlers can watch wonderful lore-friendly videos from their favorite TV. I've got a very basic seating lounge area here with smoking station on this coffee table, and of course some coffee and an interior lamp. And that's it. I added these wall lights. These come with Wasteland Workshop, and they look wonderful. Now, obviously, this little shack is not big enough for beds. Even if I stuffed it filled with sleeping bags, it wouldn't be enough. So I had to build this shack over here to accommodate all of my settlers' beds. And, you know, this, of course, would have been an ideal spot for a guard system tower. But I built it before I realized that there was a spawn point over here. So, c'est la vie. Coming inside, I put some festive plants in the corners where I couldn't put sleeping bags, just to brighten things up a little bit. Going upstairs, it's, of course, just more sleeping bags. And on this balcony, I placed some seating areas. But the primary lounge area is over here. So as you know, settlers tend to hang out by the bar before work begins, after they wake up in the morning, and then at night, after they end their busy days, they'll hang out at the bar. And I found that this area got so crowded. Well, what I did is I set up a bar station here on this elevated platform, surrounded by, you know, Nuka-Cola and baskets of food. And then I set out these two tables filled with food and potted meat and beer and all sorts of brain fungus and all that. But nighttime would come and the settlers would fill this up really quickly and then just walk over into this corner right here and all just hang out, which was just annoying. So I built two more seating areas over here, and this one is deciding to hover in the air for some reason. I set out two more tables, filled them with food and beverages. So now my unassigned settlers can lounge around and sit down, and at the end of the day, there's plenty of seating for everyone. I've got a little cooking spit right here, and the settlers will walk by and turn this crank from time to time. And for those who don't know, you know the trading post that appears in your workshop after you complete a series of quests from Bunker Hill? Those are nice because wandering merchants who roam the wasteland will appear at those trading posts within your settlements. But I realized that they also appear at existing fires. And this is one of those existing fires. If your settlement has an existing fire pit like this, then those roving merchants will come and sit down by the fire pit. And I discovered that they will come to this one. So I left it empty. I didn't put any seating around it so that the roaming traders will come and sit down there. Now, as for power, let me show you my stats. I'm running only on 18 power. I think this is one of my settlements where I managed to get a lot more done with very little power. My defense is 109, which is plenty for the water and the food that I'm producing. The rule of thumb to avoid getting attacked is you add your food to your water, and that's the number of power you have to get to reduce your chance of getting attacked. You can't reduce it to 0. It is still possible for your settlement to get attacked, but if you make sure your defense is equal to the water and food you have added together, then that reduces your chance. So that more than covers it, but 18 power fits in this nice elevated generator station that I've created here. And then I wired it through the grating in that grate, and it powers all of my defenses, all of my water purification systems, my television, my house, everything. So listen, the moral of this story is that Bethesda places a settlement cap on settlements for a reason. They place an item cap on settlements for a reason, and we're seeing right now why. I've got all of these units walking through my settlement on this road as they go to the mechanist's lair, and you can see that it's so laggy because there are so many moving parts that some of the robots aren't even loading correctly. I created both of these robots. This is the Taffington Boathouse Provisioner. This is the Finch Farm Provisioner. And I created them to look nice, but it's so laggy here that the models aren't even loading. This is the base model that you get when you first start creating the robot. And then what the game does is it applies all of the different armor pieces, like the way this guy looks, kind of like armor or clothing onto this base model. But you can see that it's lagging so much that they're not even loading. So, sorry about the frame rate issues in this particular video. I still really like the way that this settlement turned out. So I'm not going to change anything. I just probably won't visit too often because it is really killing my FPS here. But anyway, there you go. That is an efficiency settlement of Country Crossing, a very active place if you have provisioners going to the Mechanist's Lair. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to subscribe for more of these efficiency settlement builds. My goal is to get through every single settlement in the game, and then once I'm done with those, stay tuned for Far Harbor. Far Harbor is going to be released as of this recording in just a couple of weeks, just under a couple of weeks, and at that time I'm sure there will be more settlements to decorate, and I will be recording those and publishing them to my YouTube channel. And additionally, once I'm done with that, I'm going to be finding some of the other settlements that wonderful modders have created, and I'll be decorating those as well to show them off. So stay tuned for more amazing Fallout 4 and other gaming content, as well as videos about beards and cigars and a wide range of other topics. Thanks again for watching.